Dan here. Speech up. So my plan today was to come out and start cleaning up the shop because it's a disaster. Instead, I kept working. Actually, worked all day to do whatever this last video was. Had a little dinner. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, clean up for an hour. That way tomorrow when I wake up, day off, I can get a lot done. Instead, I started working. So anyways, I was working with the camera off because I find I get a lot more done without you guys around for some reason. So I got the rear end completely out. We were struggling a little bit yesterday with the coilover brace, whatever you want to call it. So it has some bolts to go through. I gotta get some new bolts. I mangled up the other ones, hammering it through. A little bit of anger happened there. So what I did is I just used, I trimmed the bolts, but I ended up using them kind of as like a guide. So the bar is where it is. And then I welded the crap out of it. So that ain't going anywhere now. So I welded all the way around. I welded the top and the bottom plate. And then tomorrow, well actually tonight or whatever, I'm gonna run a drill bit through there and just kind of chew it up a little bit. The frame's just a little tweaked here and there. So we'll put that through. I'll get some 1/2" grade 8 bolts and we'll bolt it in as well. So originally you just have a bolt going through it. So we're gonna bolt and weld the whole thing. And then, I don't know if I should do any other bracing to it. I mean, I know it's probably a little overkill, but I do think that is where all the weight of the truck is. Now, I also realize the days of this thing being used as an actual half ton are probably over. So that's the plan, that's all dialed together. I got the rear end out and then I pulled this rear end. So this is one of my Nova and I started kind of cleaning it all up. So a factory truck, I think I measured it was 61 or 61 1/4, mating surface to mating surface. And a lot of guys, what they do is they put like a 4/9 inch in, they put a 60-inch diff in it. And as you just happen to be, this is basically right there. The drums aren't quite on, was it like 60-ish? Close to?
Like 61?
Yeah, but the drums are kind of kicked out a little bit. So they'll go in just a little bit. So this is out of a Nova, which I think is 60 exactly. So this will give us 12 bolt posi 308 5 on 4 3/4 Chevy car bolt pattern, which we also have the disc brakes in front, which will be Chevy bolt pattern or car bolt pattern, because this is 6-lug truck. Nope, 5-lug truck. Is that what it is? No, 6-lug. Oh, that's 6-lug. This is 5-lug. It's getting late. But now what we have to do...
You know what we should do? Use power tools.
Yeah, that's right. So I spent the night, so far cleaning off the mating surface on the tube. I don't think I'm going to weld anything tonight because I do want to think about it. But what we do have to do, unfortunately, is we have to drag the engine crane around because we're going to lift the truck up so we can put the diff in this thing. Then we got to use the scissor jack to kind of lift this deal. So my plan is lift it up with the engine crane, scissor jack over, put these on the scissor jack, so kind of support it and it'll be free to move up and down, but obviously the weight's held by the crane. We can put the diff in, lift it up with the scissor jack, coilovers in, and then that will be its kind of deal. And if we have it on the mounts, like the 4-link mounts, we can actually support the whole weight of the truck because that is all bolted in. We'll have to obviously, maybe put a few bolts in there, but that'll be held, and then we can just let the diff sit there and we can decide how we want to do. But that, in theory, we put that in there, we set the diff on it, we can put wheels and tires on, and all the weight being on the 4-link bar, we can lower it until the wheels are just barely going to be touching the lift. But bear in mind, if the wheels just barely scrape the lift, it'll still be suspension compressed. So that'll be at ride height because all the weight is going to be supported by these bars. So if that's the case, then we can set the pinion angle, which I got to do a little research on that. It's always supposed to be equal and opposite to what the motor is. So basically kind of put this thing at like a 3-degree pitch, weld it in, and then we should be dialed. And then the rear end will be in this thing. I can weld the snot out of it. And the nice thing is with the lift and all that and everything, the box off, I'll just weld it all together I don't want to mangle these bushings, unfortunately, with a bunch of heat. We'll have to decide what we want to do there. The smart thing to do would be do that, unbolt everything, weld it, and put it back together. So we might do that. Be an extra half hour, but probably the way of doing it. So tonight, I think I just like to get it set kind of cool looking. Does that work for you? You got anything else planned tonight? Didn't think so. What time is it, like 10? 10:30? Not bad. Okay, so I'm gonna drag the engine crane over and we'll see if we can figure this all out. We probably should move some of these pointy objects out of the way so they don't stabby stab. Otherwise, it's really coming together. Not bad. I know it's 2 videos, but we started this at probably noon today. So one long day, you could have it all under control. Technology. Somebody really should clean up in here. Dang welder. I need like 18 plugs. I do miss that about Manitoba, is I'd have multiple welding plugs. And the garage was so small, I could just literally plug the thing in anywhere. That was quite handy. Okay, I'll probably have to try and sneak this thing under the lift. If we can. Is this thing on the locks or is it? If you're not working till midnight in your hot rod, or even a hot rodder, my brain won't let me go to sleep tonight, no matter how tired I am, until I get to a point where I'm happy. And probably go get a Diet Coke from McDonald's or something. Huh? Okay, well, let's get this thing dragged over. We'll come back and we're trying to support it, which will be a little sketch. It'll be fine. Okay. So I just took all the bars off, remeasured them, and I spun them around opposite of the way the directions recommended. But I wanted the adjusting nut to be forward, which is fine, except for the top 4-link you can't get to snug, and you got to make sure they're kind of straight. So I put them on the bracket to see what that was like. Now really, this shouldn't weigh hardly anything. But again, just don't get under it, and we should be fine. If you grab the airline, unfortunately, drop this all down. She's a little slow moving. There's no weight on the old girl. What was that?
The airline.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Can you lift that side up?
Yeah, easy.
I gotta pull it with me. Okay, now we want a pad right under there. Oh man. So really, that should do everything we want, except now this diff is all kinds of the wrong way and heavy. Well, it won't be that bad. Hey, my phone on me. I'm gonna break it, my phone in my pocket, and then lift and smash the screen again. Okay, put this out of the way.
Where do you want me?
I don't know yet. I'm just gonna kind of muscle it and see what happens here. Good thing we went to yoga today. Oh, it's gonna flip here.
I'll go the other side here.
Okay. So that's good. Okay, I'm just gonna do one side at a time. All I need is that to be there.
Pull this one over?
Pull it ahead. Pull the e-brake cable out of the way. Yeah. Okay. So now just leave that side.
I'm pretty sure I can put it up there.
I'll get it. Don't fall off, please. Perfect. Okay. So,
Honestly, way better than I thought that was gonna
exactly as I thought it was gonna. Can't believe you were shocked. So now we can go ahead and lift her up. And then put these shock absorbers on. And nothing's gonna be in the way there. I don't know how this really wants to be. Do that. Need a nut. Shoot.
Oh, right.
So we got one side on. Actually, we're pretty dang on good. So, might have to loosen these and re-snug them once we have the actual weight on the truck, but in the interest of trying to hold the thing, I think we're doing all right. Got one side on. What am I doing that side for? Yeah, I don't really. All the diagrams, pictures didn't have a whole lot of washers on them. So
They sent a lot of washers.
they sent a bunch, so I don't know.
I guess maybe if there's just a little bit of fitment issue.
Yeah. Usually when you put a washer on something, if the hole's a little wallered out, these are all pretty spat on. Okay. Can you actually? Maybe I can fall over. So we're doing that side. Yep, same thing. Okay. So that's there. Oh, this one might be a Bit of a hassle to get. Oh, I got to just do it on the back side, I guess. Hey, man. Okay. So now, in theory, should be able to lift this thing. This would be considered ride height. I got a little bit of a kind of a cattywampus thing there. Wonder if I can just move the pad over a little bit. Oh, it's going to be on the lock, of course. These dang safety locks. You're going to have to go over there and lift that
You got it, dude.
thing up. I'll just reposition this pad so it's flat under it. Hopefully it has enough swing to it.
What do I do?
Just lift that up. Yep. So we'll let it hang on the engine crane again. Little suspension travel. Okay. Nope.
Oh, keep going.
Okay, we got a bit of a situation there. Okay. This is kind of going all goofy here.
This one did it too.
Yeah, I know what happened. Oh, the engine crane must have swung the whole mess over or something. Okay, so if we go up, we'll just put the pads. Can you put the pad so it's right under both pieces? Yeah, just like that. Okay.
Now it's twisting the other way.
How is that possible? Why is it doing that? I'll have to give it a smack with a hammer. Why? It's all jacked up there. Huh. What's going on? Why is it twisting?
It was like perfect and then it just...
Yeah. Why would one side be good and the other side be not good? That's kind of weird.
Or maybe I put the pad too far up.
I wonder if it's just kind of the way it's going to be. That kind of kills my plan of having that on there. We need something level to lift it on, or that side lifted okay. Okay, we'll have to mess with this a little bit. Get it up in the air. So we got her sitting on the rear end. I had to give it a tack weld there. I had an easy spot to cut. But that's that. little suspension travel. So I don't know why it was rolling over, I guess. I mean, that's what has the bar going to hold it, so maybe we'll have to do something else there, or measure it side to side to make sure the diff is centered. I didn't do any of that. So we got to measure side to side, make sure the diff's centered. We got to make sure the pinion angle's good, and we got to make sure that the bars are straight back and 36 inches on center from each other is kind of the plan. So there's kind of a lot of measurements that have to be right there, but I think we take our time tomorrow after a good night's sleep. What?
I was just seeing if it was the hour to probably not make big decisions.
Is it?
It is, yes.
Oh. But, so tomorrow we'll run out, I want to get bolts, so we'll bolt that thing in, so that's all good. We can take it apart, put a few washers in a few spots. We got extras, so we might as well use them. And then, yeah, really just center up the diff and weld the bejesus out of it. And that's a technical term, but it should be okay. And actually, depending on what we do with how we lift it, we can tack it all in, and then I can probably like take one bar out, weld around. I guess really just the top bars, so I could get hot in the bushing, and then weld it. Let that sit. The diff might do kind of a couple of funny things, but it's all measured. It'll all go back together with nut and bolt. And then I kind of think that's it. We should be able to put the box back on. This thing has new brakes in it. I mean, we can do all the plumbing and all that underneath. I guess I can decide if I want to fix this. Actually, I was looking at this. This is hammered in and caused this to kind of horseshoe a little bit. So I'm almost wondering if this kind of squeezed the frame in a little bit upon further diagnoses. So I bet had I just cut a slit in this, it would have done stuff. But, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. It's in there now. And that, where the coilovers are is essentially irrelevant. If it's up, down, left, right, it's just, it's adjustable. So who cares? But that is in there. Nothing's tight. I want to make sure we'll have it all welded in, put the weight on it, and then tighten everything at ride height. So you want the bushing, because it has to move back and forth, you want it in the center of its kind of travel, or whatever you want to call it, in the neutral position, and then tighten everything. That way when it goes up and down, it's flexing like that. So that's our plan, but been a lot of work today, but I don't know. Waste your money at Speedway. All the cool guys are doing it. And yeah, one day later you got a 4-link, and now you got Chevy rear end, and you can adjust it, lower it, raise it, do whatever the heck you want. I will say though, based on this is going to be higher, I think, than it was before. This has got to be like a stock kind of ride height. So we'll have to play with that. I wonder if I have these on upside down. Now that I'm looking at it, I might.
What?
Oh, I do have that one upside down. That's the problem we're running into. This is the midnight problem.
Okay, so this is the bad one.
So the reason that axle was trying to twist
is because the leverage.
Because this one was lifting harder than that one that was flipping it. Okay, well, we will fix that tomorrow because I'm over it for tonight. Sometimes you gotta just quit, but that should, that'll drop it, whatever that is, amount of ride height. And then if you ever want to change it afterwards, all you gotta do is just lower this piece down or make a custom piece, and we can raise this thing up and down, do whatever we want with it.
Sometimes you just gotta take a minute to look at what you're doing.
Yeah, because it actually looks like it would be all the way lowered. So hopefully that will figure itself out and it doesn't sit too high. This is designed to lower it. Now, I will say I did the flip kit, that was like 6 inches. I don't know if it's a lower 6 inches. It might have been a little low in the back, actually. So we'll have to see, but we'll play with it. In worst case, like I said, we can get any bracket we want, laser cut, or lower this down, or do all sorts of goofiness to it. So, but that's tomorrow's problem.
I think I'd like a cheeseburger.
Oh, really? Stereo clean clothes in 10 minutes. Okay, let's just push all this stuff in and have future Dan take care of it.
Dan that is gonna clean because it's making him super mad how messy it is in here, but then decided he would rather just keep working.
But look at it.
I'm looking. It's cool.
It's very cool. I'm excited for it. How are we gonna make sure these bars are dead straight? It must be in the instructions somehow. It's just because they're 36 inches apart doesn't mean they're square. I guess this center bar will do that. This one should be square. Ah, I see. We'll tighten that one. This one will be square to the front. So this one will be 100% parallel. Then we'll measure 36 inches from this one to that one, and that'll square that one up.
It just feels like Hot Rod, A Beautiful Mind.
I definitely think we need some washers up on these coilovers. Or maybe they're just loose. Or both. Yes. Hey, whatever, dude. Sometimes you gotta build stuff wrong, and that's how you learn to do it right. Not everyone is an expert like the comment section on my YouTube videos, that they've never done it before, but they know I'm doing it wrong. I'll see you tomorrow. So, I did a pile of thinking off camera. Did I show what I did here already, or welded all this in?
Yeah.
So we got that welded in. I went and got some 1/2-inch bolts. So that's in, bolted and welded. So that's dialed. Now, we ran in
Again? Sorry, I was walking.
this piece. Well, it was all welded, so it's welded all the way on the inside, top, bottom, and then a bolt through it. So that ain't going nowhere. I'm still fighting out if I should maybe put a little brace, you know, or whatever, if these should be braced at all. I don't know. Obviously, that's the way the kit is. So, that's that. I've done a bunch of screwing around, getting everything for, we left it to coil. So I flipped that. The issue,
And it worked fine after you flipped it?
better for sure. So when you load it up, unfortunately, because the coil spring is over here, now we could have put the coil right down there. I saw some in the kit, actually an option to do that, so we could have just put it there instead of using this plate. This plate obviously moves it over just to get it inside the frame rail, just for tire clearance and wheel clearance or brakes or whoever knows what you got going on. I just left it as is. We could just put it there, which looking back now probably would have made things easier.
So just instead of having the plate, you attached it here?
Yeah, so,
To there.
yeah, which we can always do, because what's happening now is this is acting as a lever. So as the suspension is coming down, the weight's going from here to here, which is kind of causing this 4-bar to want to crank over, right, like go in. So everything I tightened, even though it's drooped, but that held it the best we could. I kind of screwed around a little and carried on. The issue we're running into now, which may take a modification down the road, and this was, well, such is life. This 4-bar kit runs pretty close to the frame. I mean, we only got kind of a finger's width. So now the problem is I welded this plate on the outside and it has this coming over. So you kind of do the math and think to yourself, well, that's probably a finger's width right there. So there's a chance, and the bar gets bigger right there. So it might be close. So I may have to, in the future, just extend this, you know what I mean? And that would just clearance a bunch of things, which shouldn't have an issue. Now, the diff shouldn't really go side to side a whole lot. That's obviously what this kind of bar is for. But again, this is all just, I'm learning, I'm figuring things out, looking back. Obviously, if this was bigger, or if it wasn't double thick, which I, at the time, thought, oh, this is great. It's double thick, it has this plate going through, and I welded on the inside too. So I really went a little, I mean, I've seen some real hack job C-notches. So, okay, so be it, we may have to clearance that or do whatever we gotta do, but that's life. So we have all that. Then, I kind of was doing some mathematics on this, and I got this just like the Amazon angle finder, so it tells you what everything is up, and you can then level it out, like zero it out, once you have everything kind of dialed. So we had, the transmission was like kind of 2 degrees, well, it was 2 degrees up, but the frame was 4 degrees up. So basically the transmission, if the frame was level, the transmission would hang down more, if I'm saying that right. Basically the transmission, the tail shaft of it has 2 degrees downward, and you kind of want your diff equal and opposite, so a couple of degrees up. That's how I'm kind of interpreting a lot of the internet based on the 4-link stuff. And then guys say on equal and opposite, and then if you want, for performance-y stuff and all that, you kind of angle it X number of degrees back down, because as you accelerate, the rear end tends to want to climb. So if you already have it up, it'll go too far. If you have it too low, it'll kind of cause some binding issues. So I just have it tacked into place, but ultimately, with the current setup, with the angle of everything we have, if the transmission would be 2 or so degrees going downwards at kind of ride height, and the way this is set up right now, I realize this isn't kind of real life, the degrees will change, but they'll change the same. So if the transmission as it goes down becomes, I think it was actually 3.5 when it was at ride height, but now because with the rear end lifted up, it changes, right? But as long as the numbers remain the same between each other, like the spread, we should be fine. So when I put this on here, we had, it's not exact, I had it at 1 degree, but 0.75, 0.7, I guess it depends on where it is. So essentially, if the transmission would be 2 degrees down, this is 1 degree up, or 0.75, wherever it's going to show. So we have a degree and a quarter split between them, rear end downwards. I think that makes sense in my head. I hope it does. Well, it makes sense in my head. Now, whether that's reality or not, I couldn't tell you. But it's all kind of together with a cup with, tack on each side just to kind of hold it. I'm going to give it a few more tacks. And I think what we'll do is I have those Krager wheels. When we just slam those on there, drop it down so it's absolutely level. And then we'll recheck everything again. And then it's nothing to bust off a couple of tacks. So I did, like, the outside one's going to be easy to get. And I'll just tack the top right here and here. So again, it's super easy to get. Everything is marked, with marker and stuff like that. So I think it was 7 1/4 from the tip of the piece to that. We have our bars 36 inches apart. Now I could have extended the bars, but at 36 inches, they're parallel. So if we start going center wider, they become stuff like that. So they're kind of triangulated a little bit, which you could probably get away with some, but you're probably going to pound out the bushings. So it is what it is. So I think it all kind of makes sense to me. Been a lot of screwing around, a lot of math. Like I said, I've never really done a kit like this before, but at the end of the day, we'll put it together. If it screws up, it's only metal, and we have grinders and welders, so we can take it all apart. But I'm pretty sure we're good. At the very least, this is all taken care of. This is obviously not moving. The only issue we're going to have will be in the bars and the rear end, which can be done with the box on, up in the lift. It makes life a lot easier. The other thing is these bars, like I said, they're adjustable. So if we want to adjust the pinion angle in any way, shape, or form, these bars are both basically all the way in. So the adjustment would be going outwards. But if we adjust the top bar out, it would push the snout up and give us more positive pinion. And if we push the bottom one out, it would give us negative pinion. So that's kind of where I'm at. Ultimately now with the load on it, this should be about where they want to be, but we can play with it a couple degrees back and forth. I don't know how much you can adjust these, but I assume it might change where, well, I don't know if it'll change where the diff, it might change the diff forward and back in the wheel well just a bit, but we are exactly centered where it was before. I made sure I measured all that. So in theory, it should be good, and we should be able to adjust it with the 4-bar we have in it. Now these, they're only adjustable on the one side, so we always change these to dual adjustable. Then you just crack the nut and go, but really the top one, you can't get to the nut anyways. So that's probably why it's like that. But there you go. That's the plan. I think it's all kind of together. Everything's kind of snugged up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tack these on. I'll go grab those wheels. Actually, the wheels are in the back of that truck. I think I got some shank washers and lugs. Should be able to drop it down and see if it looks completely out to lunch. But I'm thinking this is kind of going to be what it's going to be. And I'd like to put the box on this thing and either take a break or from this thing or do the front end. So there you go. Feel free to let me know how wrong I am in the comments section. Unfortunately, we're actually kind of ahead on videos right now, so I won't find out for like 2 weeks after this. But by the time you're reading this and furiously typing, odds are I figured it out as well. So I appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to weld this up right quick and put some wheels and tires on it. We'll drop it down and see what happens. Well, it's on the ground.
Kragers look good.
Yeah, we need some different tires. They're gonna look goofy on this thing, I think. But I actually took it all apart and redid a little bit more mathematics to it. But I wanted to make sure it was absolutely centered in the thing, which it is. So I think we're good there. I mean, it's within 16th or an 8th. I mean, the problem is you start, everything's kind of half loose or whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna move this to the back. And you put some weight on it, you do a bunch of things, it kind of goes all over the place. But I think we're good. I boned the pinion angle. I don't know what I did wrong, but my math ended up, I did add a degree, but it was the wrong way. So we got 3 or so down, it's actually about 3.5 down at the back of the transmission. This is all full of junk. I think that's what it was. Yeah, 3.3 down, but this I think is actually going up. What is that? Like 4.4 almost, yeah, 4.75, something like that. So we have 1 extra degree up. We actually want 1 extra degree down. So I decided I'm not going to take this all apart for two, because it's so awkward to try and hold it and screw around and all this and that and whatever. And I don't know how to do it, because I was hoping that, I mean, you could put the weight on it and you can move the diff, but if the weight's on the diff, it wants to shoot out. Like I don't get it. There must be like some sort of maybe a clamp I could have made, like a U-bolt or something like that to kind of hold it, then we could play with the pinion angle. But at the end of the day, I don't think 2 degrees is going to screw this thing up, being a bone stock deal. The other thing is, realistically, we'll get the box on. If I just if I put the thing up, let the diff hang with the jack, like jack on the frame, pull these bottom bars out, turn them out, I don't know, a turn or two, and they're all the way in. That will bring this down, and I think we'll be within a degree or two, and it'll be fine. I will say the 55, when I got it, the blue one, it had been put in, and it's like one where they're pointed like way down or way high up, and I was like, oh, this is weird. And the blue 4-door, don't yawn. And I put it together, I slammed the drive shaft in anyways, it'll be fine. It was already, the pad's already welded on. I'm like, I'm not gonna mess with it. Worst case being a leaf spring car, I'll jam some shims or something under it. It's fine, you know, no vibration, beat the hell out of it. I mean, it's not a high horsepower car. And I kind of feel as though a lot of these degrees and all that become a lot more important under high load and power and all that stuff, which this is currently not gonna be, and if it ever is, we'll figure it out. The math I ended up doing, which I just, in case people are going back, I had these 36 apart, which I believe they should still be, hopefully. Center to center. Oh yeah, bang on, right on that little line, so that's perfect. But what the math I ended up doing was I took from the backing plate to the backing plate, and then I took, I think it was 56 or whatever, let's say whatever it was. I took the 56, I took the 36 out of it, and that gave me the difference of what it should have been to the backing plate to the outside of this. Because what I was worried is, these were 36 apart from each other, that's easy math, but were they 36 but one way or the other? So that way I managed to get the math done right that way. And I had to do some screwing around to move, you know, again, get the diff centered in the unit. And even though the diff's all centered, I don't know if it's a 12-bolt thing, but this is a 1/2 inch off. The yoke's a 1/2 inch off to one side, which, I don't know if that makes any difference or what. But the diff is square in the car, 100%, and these are square to each other, and they're the right difference from everything else. So it's kind of one of those I work my way from the outside in. So, a U-joint's meant to do that. I mean, I know guys with like the 8.8s run them way out to lunch on a Tri-5 Chevy, so it has to be fine. Obviously, this stuff has to be kind of adjusted and tightened up and all that, but it's sitting there. I know there's a lot of kind of talking on this one, but honestly, I had to talk myself through it. Pretty good kit. I can't really complain other than this one thing I had to re-weld. Actually, don't look at that weld, but look at that. It's not bad.
That's very good.
We'll just do that.
Actually.
It's not too bad.
That one's crap, but the rest is very
whatever.
well done, honey.
So I got that. It's all kind of tacked in. We'll make sure everything's double checked tight. I re-welded inside the frame, so it's all done. And again, I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, we can always plate this or whatever if we're worried about strength and stuff like that. And honestly, now that this only lowers the car 4 inches, which I guess we could either A, make more of these that drop it down more. So if we put this lower, that would in turn put the diff higher, so we could play with it that way, or maybe change the springs. I don't know, because it looks like they're already kind of bottomed out. So we got some screwing around to do with that. We'll see what the ride height is. I bet before it kind of was like, you know, back end down, front end up. At this point, it'll probably be more level. Also, we'll have to, like I said, figure out what tire size we want to put on it. I'm thinking we'll probably, again, for highway gear, we have 275s to 28, but being a truck, we could probably put like a 30 tall, 30 by 10, or like a weird size like that, and probably fill the wheel well up a lot better. Make it look good. So we got to do some screwing on the front here, because whatever these tires are, they're actually rubbing the tie rod. So I think obviously with the, there's no drum or nothing on it, so maybe I'll push it out. Because we have this drop axle, this tie rod originally obviously would have been in this area. Well, as you obviously go up, the tire to that clearance becomes a problem. So we'll have to either run a small spacer or maybe, I mean, it's a truck tire, you know what this is. It's giant. But we put a skinnier tire on, we should be okay. And actually, I think now that I think about it, the disc brake kit will actually widen it out. I think it's 3/4 of an inch or something. So this doesn't have a drum on it, so that's like a 1/16. And if we add another, you know, quarter or whatever you want to call it, it actually should be just fine. But yeah, this thing's mint. I'm actually pretty happy with it. So let's put the box on and we'll finish this thing. That's gonna be a nightmare. But I want to get this thing off, get the box set on it, and then we can clean up a little bit in here. Or maybe I'll just keep working.
You need to clean up.
It's a disaster in here, I know. I'm impressed with this. Not bad for a day and a half of work. Worked out pretty good. Okay, let's get set up. So, we got this, it's all precarious.
You got the other motor to stop the car.
We got the motor there with some miscellaneous blocks of wood, and I have the tow truck out back with the winch kind of out enough that if it does run away, it should kind of hit that.
I gotta take a quick video while it's on the ground here.
And stop. You could probably, I think it should be actually not too bad. So what I want to do here is we'll just put a block out front, so hopefully it'll just kind of bang into that-ish. Put one there, then one there. This garage also, there's a break in the floor, so this line right here, it actually does this, so we're actually running uphill slightly, so it shouldn't take off on us, but we'll just see. What are we doing?
Where do you want me?
I think we should be good. Let's give this a bit of a... Okay. Perfect. Don't stand under it, don't stand under it. But now, actually I'll just kind of wheel it back and you pull that block away in the front.
Yeah. Hey, how far outside of it?
And can you move this other block here? The backside? 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 Nope.
I'm just putting the other block down.
This there. We actually should be fine here because the tow truck's gonna grab it before it gets too much further, I bet. Yeah. Okay, I actually need you to run the winch out.
Okay. There's a block here.
We shouldn't need it, it's on the winch. So we'll be fine at this point. Actually, let me just steer this thing a little.
Ready?
There's the stupid slope in the garage. What a hassle.
Why did it go backward?
Well, if you want to rewatch when you're editing, the garage floor is sloped backwards.
Oh, yeah.
But unfortunately, I kind of want to steer this thing just a little. Okay. Roll it. Okay. Yeah. Okay, stop. Okay. Perfect. Okay, let her out. And keep going. What am I hitting? Oh, your foot block's out.
Oh yeah, I put block way up front there on my side.
Well, we're on the winch. I think we're good. Okay. Let her out a little more. Oh, hang on. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Well, okay, let her go slow. A little more. Okay, that's good. Now, what weighs down? Is that going up or down? I can't see. Can you just hold this from twisting?
Yeah.
Don't be under it anyway, like literally just put one finger on it. What? Then give the winch a little bit more out. Now they're gonna be fine. Yeah, that's good. Okay, probably has to go your way just a little bit there. What? Oh yeah, grab that. We're basically safe again. Caught on the back, something always. Oh yeah. This thing here. Should be pretty much clear. You want to let the winch out a little bit? Oh, actually we should block it now. Okay, let the winch out so I don't trip and fall on it. Try not to trip and fall on it. Keep going. Okay. So now, need our adjusting bar. Actually, it kind of sits nice.
It does sit really nice, actually.
Might almost been a little kind of too low before. Okay, that's on.
Yeah.
Actually, that fits. It's like perfect across the back. Might just have to go down just a little bit in the front. And maybe over a little bit my way, eh? Is that about, that's gotta be about square. Oh yeah, some bolts lined up there. Lined up there. So I was just gonna, basically, I got some hardware. Has to go over just a bit at the back here, but I got some hardware that'll go in. Kind of hard to crank on it. Through these and down, so that'll be good. And then sheet of plywood over there, we should be fine. I'll just make sure that these are secured well to that. But I think this is just a, you know, it might, is it a 4 by something? Sheet of plywood in there, be fine. It actually sits arguably better.
Well, I'm excited to see it on the lift where it's a little more even,
Yeah.
and because the garage goes down, right?
The garage goes down, but it also has big tires up front.
Yeah.
So I think I should just do the front
I
brakes.
think the Kragers look really good on there.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I think what I'm gonna do is put those wheels and tires on the Nomad on this thing right quick. Because this thing's not going anywhere. I mean, it's all irrelevant what happens, but those, I don't know how tall these are, but I'll do a little mathematics, but whatever, I guess it's irrelevant, it's a roller now. I also have the front Kragers for this. They'll be tiny wheels, but they're 15s. So you want the Kragers on it, you think?
Yeah.
They do look sharp.
I think they look good.
I like a Krager, you can't go wrong with that. So I'll buy a set of truck tires. Oh no, those tires are junk, because I think those are 15s. Because the tires on it's the right size. Kind of fills the wheel well a little. And it's a little goofy. I was doing some internet research, and the wheel arch opening is shorter on the back than the front. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So if you tuck the same amount of tire front and back, you'd have a rake forward, and I think it might look kind of cool. Just so, like this body line would be straight, like the same distance from the ground. If you kind of tilted it down a little, but that looks good. We got lots of room underneath. Everything is fine. We can secure the box down. I can put my side pieces on.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Plywood. And then fake grass like the Nomad.
That's fine. You do whatever you want. This is garbage, so.
Just like drill a couple holes in it so it'll drain. But I think that'd be cool.
I think there's a fair amount of drainage there. There's actually a local guy that has the kit for this. He was out in Lethbridge. I'll see if he still's got it. I think it was $700. But this is the exact same thing I ran into when I did my 72 GMC when I was in, oh, you know what? This box went off 18 times. I kept meant to knock that back, but these are junk. And I wouldn't say they're expensive. Well, I guess if you want the chromium ones, there are, and that's where the money was. So I remember straightening those all out, and then the cost of hardware now is crazy. So each one of these has a little carriage bolt, probably a quarter.
Is that the blue GMC?
No, it was green with a hood scoop.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking 20 years ago, it was expensive. I can only imagine what it is now. But Murr actually had a buddy his cut the wood. He knew a shop guy and got it all taken care of. So this is going to be one of those things, a sheet of plywood in here, screw it in, or some angle so it can kind of bolt in, whatever we got to do. I don't think this thing's going to haul a whole lot of stuff. So we'll haul some groceries and whatever and kind of carry on. But
Couple Great Danes for a photo.
Yeah. This thing, it'll be eating lunch on the tailgate. It looks sharp. I actually think it looks really good. And you know what? It'll probably sit like this level when we put different tires on the front, because it'll be smaller tire as well. The front tire will probably remain that size, and the back tire will be a little bigger and taller and wider, I should say. Honestly, motor trans are in, diffs in. You can measure for a drive shaft. I got to wire it, which will take a day, if that. And then plumb it for brakes, which will probably be a couple of days. We'll maybe start tonight. I've got that Speedway kit. And this should be it'll be like yard drivable here pretty quick, maybe even next weekend. We're at the point now where they're all in around the same kind of thing. They run kind of drives. This one runs-ish, doesn't have a drive shaft, and then this one's a little bit further behind. So we'll pull them all ahead and carry on. But I'm gonna do a little cleaning up right now. We gotta get rid of that diff and stuff, put some of these tools and stuff away. But the nice thing is everything now is going forward. There's no more like working backwards and stuff. So that's pretty sweet. And honestly, I have a bunch of parts there. I want to just use as many as I can on this that we have, just to get the boxes gone. And then yeah, it's always nice to kind of take a break, think about things before you kind of carry on. But I'm also ready for lunch, and I was thinking hot dogs.
Dinner?
I'm also thinking hot dogs. So let's clean up. We'll drag us back in the hoist, and then we'll go get something to eat and start another video when we get back. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Oh, people don't ask about this. I hope that more people are happy to see this than the amount of people that are angry we're not working on the Nomad and it's turned into a shelf. And no one cares about the money car, so that's just for me. See you on the next one.